Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are going over some recent good buys and some good buy products. I've done these types of videos in the past, but I haven't done one in quite some time. So for those of you who don't know what this is going to be about, it's very simple. This is just me going over some products that I absolutely have been loving since purchasing and some products that I definitely cannot get any use out of since purchasing. So without further ado, let's jump right into my goodbye products. So we're going to start off with skincare. Skincare has definitely been one of the most important things to me, especially now that I'm in my 30s. I have to make sure that everything is okay underneath the makeup because it's something that if I don't take care of it, then it doesn't matter what I apply on top of it, whether it be drugstore makeup or high-end makeup. Anything that you put on top of it is just not going to look the same. So I've definitely made sure that I pay attention to my skin. Recently, I have become a little bit oily along the T-zone. I'm usually normal, but lately I've noticed within like the last year or so, I've become a little bit more oily along the T-zone. And so I really wanted to look for a cleanser that was going to help control that. And the one that I've found recently that I've actually really been loving is this one right here. This one is from OLEHENRIKSEN. It is their Find Your Balance Oil Control Cleanser. I love this cleanser so much because it absolutely helps balance me out. It does a really good job at controlling the oiliness along the T-zone, but it doesn't dry me out everywhere else. And that's one thing that I was really afraid of when looking for an oil control cleanser, is that I was going to get really dried out along the areas that I don't need oil control on. This one hasn't done that whatsoever. It has definitely taken care of the oiliness that I tend to get along the T-zone without making me extremely super dry along the rest of my face. Another product for the face that I've really been enjoying is this one here. This one is from Fresh. It is their Umbrian Clay Purifying Face Exfoliant. It is an exfoliator that I use a couple of times a week. It has really helped out with any kind of dead skin that I may have along the face, or if I just want a nice, clean, fresh layer of skin, this one is definitely what I reach for. Like I said, I only use it a couple of times a week, so this has lasted me quite a while. It absolutely leaves my skin feeling extremely super soft, and the smell is just out of this world amazing. Next is a moisturizer that I always seem to be coming back to is this one right here. This one is the Fresh Lotus Youth Preserve Face Cream. This one is for every skin type, so it doesn't matter if you're oily, normal, combination, what have you, sensitive even. It does wonders on the skin. It is great for everyday use, so I use it both during the daytime and at nighttime. I really enjoy that fact that it's not just meant for the day or the night, it's meant for whenever. And it's also going to help with loss of firmness, elasticity, and also it's going to help reduce fine lines and wrinkles. Now that I'm in my 30s, that's definitely something that I take into consideration when choosing a moisturizer. This one is one that is not too heavy and it gets the job done regardless of when you use it. The last skincare product that I have is this one right here. This one is from Sephora. It is their Gel Mask Hydrating and Quenching. I really like using this mask, especially after I've had like a heavy makeup wearing day in which I really have to get in there with a cleanser in order to take everything off. Sometimes I feel like my skin, it's just like stripped of any kind of oils or moisture. And so I apply this onto the face, also the neck and the chest area. After I take it off, everything just feels a lot more quenched and a lot smoother and just a lot more moisturized, like hydrated. It's non-comedogenic, so it's not going to break you out, but it is going to leave you with a nice, like soft feeling skin. Now let's move on to makeup. I have two foundations that I've recently tried that I absolutely love, and they're both very inexpensive. First one being this one right here. This one is the Physicians Formula The Healthy Foundation. I really enjoy wearing this, especially for an everyday. It has an SPF of 20, which is definitely not enough if you plan on being out in the sun for an extended period of time. But just for, you know, here and there exposure, it's totally fine. So I love the fact that it has that. Also, it looks so natural on the face. It looks so natural. It just looks like a very enhanced version of your skin. With this foundation, you can just apply a nice thin layer and it gives you medium coverage. Or if you're looking for a more full coverage foundation, you can add a second layer and it turns into full coverage, but it still doesn't feel heavy on the skin. So I really love it. Another inexpensive foundation that I really loved, and it's what I'm wearing today, is this one right here. This one is from Flower Beauty. It is their Light Illusion Foundation. I am in the shade Classic Tan with this one. Oh, and for Physicians Formula, I am in the shade MN3. This foundation gives you such a beautiful finish, just like the Physicians Formula, but this one's going to give you a nice dewy glow. You can always tone down the glow, which I do sometimes, especially around the T-zone area. I just put a little bit of setting powder on there and it takes care of it, and I don't have to worry about it making me oily or the powder being absorbed by the foundation come midday. It doesn't do that. If you set it, it's set and it lasts all day, or at least it does for me. You can get medium coverage with this so that your skin still looks like skin. It just looks a little bit more even. Or you can build it up a little bit in order to get full coverage, or at least that's what I do. And it gives me such a beautiful finish. And just like the Physicians Formula, it leaves your skin feeling like skin. It gives you full coverage, but without feeling heavy on the skin. I have had like dewy foundations in the past that just leave me feeling completely oily. This one, it does not feel like that whatsoever. It's just a beautiful foundation. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Next, moving on to the under eye area, the first product is this one right here. This one is the new shade for the BECCA Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This one is in medium to deep. I really love the fact that they came out with a little bit of a deeper corrector. The one before, it was definitely really on the bright side. It just really didn't help cancel out the darkness underneath my eyes. It just really helped brighten, but it didn't help cancel anything out. This shade is a little bit more on the peachy side, so it absolutely helps cancel out the darkness underneath my eyes. And not only that, but it also does help brighten it up a little bit, which helps with correcting the darkness underneath my eyes just overall. Definitely a must-have if you have dark circles like I do and you don't want the, harsh orange or harsh red color correctors underneath the eyes. This is a good alternative and it gets the job done. Next is a concealer. This one is from Flower Beauty. It is their Light Illusion Concealer. I love it. I really, really do love it. It's very inexpensive. It does a really, really good job at concealing the darkness underneath my eye area, and it stays put all day long, especially when set with a powder. It does not leave your under eye feeling or looking heavy or cakey. This is something that I've been reaching for a lot lately, especially when I'm looking to get full coverage. Another concealer that I've really enjoyed wearing lately is this one right here. This one is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. It blends out so nicely and it builds up so nicely. You can blend it out using your finger. You can achieve full coverage and it stays put all day long. I remember when I first reviewed this concealer, my eyes were so watery that day. I believe I was wearing false lashes and my inner corner just would not stop watering for whatever reason. So I was really like crying up a storm the entire day trying to review it, trying not to let it affect me. And even though my eyes were so watery that day, the concealer, it did a really good job at staying put. Mostly. It only really like truly wore off around the tear duct, which is where everything was just pooling and continuing to water. But everything else looked fine. And I was really, really surprised by that and impressed by that because it's not the first time that it's happened. I've had plenty of times in the past where I have had watery eyes due to false lashes or something in on my contacts or whatever. And it just, everything gets ruined underneath the eye area. This one, it did not do that. It actually stayed pretty put for the entire day. So I was really impressed by that. I've been wearing it ever since on and off, just like the Flower Beauty concealers. So I have two new concealers that I really, really like and recommend. Next product is a brow product, and it's the only brow product that I have recently discovered that I can't do without. And this one is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power Pencil in the shade Universal Taupe. And the shade, not only is the pencil really good, but the shade is amazing for my complexion and for my hair color. Usually when I go to reach for any kind of brow product that is meant for like brunettes, it's too brown. It's either too brown or too chocolatey brown, and it's just very obvious that it does not match my hair color whatsoever. But this one, I find that it really, really matches really, really well. It performs really nicely, it stays put, and I just really love the way that it makes my brows look. the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I can honestly say that I have used this, I don't even know how many times since I purchased it. A lot. I've used this a lot. It is definitely a palette that I use on a regular basis. I actually used it along with another palette in order to create this eye look right here. It's a beautiful palette. The formula is amazing. It blends out so nicely, so evenly, smoothly, effortlessly. It's just like the Modern Renaissance palette. So if you have that Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance, then you pretty much have the exact same formula as this one. And if you enjoy that formula, you're going to absolutely enjoy this formula as well. Only this gives you a lot more like everyday warm tones. So if you're into the warm tones as much as I am, then you're absolutely going to love this palette and get plenty of use out of it. Last goodbyes that I have are for the lips. Two of which are from the same brand. They are from Huda Beauty. These are her liquid matte lipsticks. I absolutely love the formula for these liquid lipsticks. They are some of the best, most non-dry formula that I have ever tried. So certain liquid lipsticks kind of leave your lips feeling, you know, heavy, they crack, the formula just starts to disappear. These I find that they don't do that. They're so like liquidy, but they dry down matte, but they're non-drying on the lips, or at least they have not been for me. Every time that I wear them, I forget that I'm wearing lipstick, and that is what I want. It's something that feels super light on the lips that I don't even notice it's there. They also don't transfer, which is a huge plus, because the last thing that I want is to leave, you know, kiss marks everywhere on my children, or on my husband, or on anything, or on anyone rather. So they don't transfer, they dry down completely matte, they don't feel dry on the lips, and they last all day. So it's an amazing, amazing liquid lipstick formula. The last product that's a good buy for the lips is this one right here. This one is the Maybelline SuperStay Matte Ink Lipstick in the shade Driver, and that is what I'm wearing right now. It is a true nude for us olive skin individuals. I feel like whenever I do try to find a nice nude for my complexion, it always has either like a pinky undertone or a peachy undertone. I never have one that looks like this, that's more like on the brown side, I guess you could say. This one is the only one that I found that looks like this, and that actually is a nude lipstick on my complexion. And so for that, it's on my goodbyes list. So now that we're done with the things that I absolutely have been loving, now it's time for things that I really can do without. So first up is skincare, and I only have one product for that, fortunately, and that is the Clinique Take the Day Off Balm. This one is a cleansing balm. So what you do is you grab a little bit of the balm, you apply it onto your dry skin with your makeup, it melts everything off, and then you wash everything off. It's amazing as far as getting rid of makeup. I'm not going to deny that. It's absolutely amazing. It does what it's meant to do, and it does it really well. However, it breaks me out a lot. When I first purchased this, I was using it on a regular basis, and then I started breaking out along my forehead, and I really wasn't sure what it was. And so when I went over my skincare, I realized that this was the only new thing that I had purchased that I had been using at the time. And once I stopped using it, the breakouts slowly started to disappear. So I absolutely know that this is what was causing it. It's such a shame that I can't use it because it worked so well. It's just, it breaks me out. So now moving on to foundation. This has probably been the biggest letdown of recent time. There was a lot of hype around this foundation, and I thought that I was going to love it because a lot of people were comparing it to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. Like they were saying this is like the foundation form of that. I didn't find that to be the case. This one is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I did not like this foundation whatsoever. It's supposed to have all of these other additional benefits that are supposed to be good for the skin, and they're supposed to benefit you in the long run, but when you're wearing it, it feels so heavy on the skin, like so heavy. I think you may really like this foundation if you're more on the dry side, because it does feel heavy, but not heavy in the way of like full coverage heavy in the way of like too many oils and too much going on heavy. You know what I mean? It just feels like a slippery slope once I apply it onto the skin. And it doesn't matter what I put underneath it, so what primer I use, how I set it, how long I have it on for, it always gives me the exact same results because I've tried this more than once. This is not an inexpensive foundation. This was quite pricey. So I really wanted to make sure that I really did not like this, and I really do not like it. No matter how I use it, it's always a disappointment. It settles into my laugh lines. It settles here along like my 11 frown there in between my brows, and it's just, I feel yucky when I wear it. So next, I have a couple of concealers that I just really was not impressed by whatsoever. The first one is the Kylie Jenner concealer. This one is the Skin Concealer. I did not like it at all. It separated, it settled, it just was not, it was not a good concealer whatsoever. At least it wasn't on me. Perhaps if you don't have like the fine line situation underneath the eyes, then you might have enjoyed this concealer, but for me it just absolutely wasn't worth it. The price point, the shipping cost, it took forever to get here, and the shipping is quite pricey. It just wasn't worth it for me. Not whatsoever. Another product is this one right here. This one is from Pure Cosmetics. I love Pure lashes. Like, some of my favorite lashes are their Diva lashes. But this Shake and Bake concealer was such a letdown. I wasn't even able, I was going to review this because I was like, you know what, this is pretty cool. It's a powder that turns into a solid or a cream. It's supposed to be, you know, for the under eye area. So I don't know, I thought that it might be a good product to review. It was a letdown from the beginning. As soon as I took it out, I swatched it on the back of my hand. I always do in order to make sure that my concealers are going to be a good shade match for my under eye area before I review them on camera. So I did that, and it was just such a letdown. Once you apply it onto the skin as a powder, it's one color, and then when you blend it out, or when you are trying to blend it out, it turns into a completely different color. A lot lighter, a lot more even so on the gray side. I just knew that it wasn't going to work for my under eye area because the coverage, even on the back of the hand, was extremely sheer once you blended it out. And not just that, but like I mentioned, it blends out to be a much lighter shade. And there are only 3 shades to choose from. I think I chose medium. And I looked at Jackie Ina's video where she actually chooses like the deepest shade, and I just figured that it was the exact same thing. It was going to be a lot lighter, not what I was expecting, not what I was hoping for, and it was such a letdown. I thought it was going to be a good product, but it just turned out to be a little bit of a flop. So yeah. Another product for the under eye area that I purchased that I was extremely disappointed by is this one right here. This is the KKW Beauty Brightening Powder. It comes in 4 shades. I grabbed the shade 3. It is awful. This is kind of like a banana powder shade, but once you apply it onto the under eye area, it just looks like a white cast underneath the eyes. It gives a crazy amount of flashback, and it makes the under eye area appear gray. At least it does for me. I didn't like wearing it. I didn't feel like it really did anything other than give me a white cast underneath the eyes, and it wasn't very easy to blend out. So definitely a product that I should not have purchased. Another product that I purchased that I was disappointed with was this one right here. This one is the NYX Cosmetics Worth the Hype Mascara. For me, it was not worth the hype at all. This did nothing for my lashes, really. I tried to build it up 2 or 3 times, and it just, every single time, I just wasn't getting much length. I wasn't getting much volume. All I was doing was I was continuing to pump air into the mascara, and I wasn't really getting the results that I wanted. I was expecting a lot more, and I didn't. I was just let down by this one. And the last product that I purchased that I was absolutely disappointed by was this one right here. This is the BUXOM Wildly Whipped Lightweight Liquid Lipstick. No ma'am, it is awful on the lips. Once you apply it on the lips, it applies really patchy and uneven. And then as you wear it throughout the day, it just feels like it's getting in your mouth. Like, it doesn't stay put and in place. It's a bit of a mess after you apply it, and it doesn't even look good. So that completes this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's reviews and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future product reviews, makeup tutorials, and beauty related videos. And also don't forget to follow me on all of my other social media platforms. I am All Beauty by Sarah with an H on Instagram and All Beauty by Sarah without the H on Snapchat and Twitter. As always, take care and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.